From the heart of the city, straight to your radio. Honest, intimate, real. This is where love gets real and real gets deep. It's not just talk, it's the Love Talk Show. Are you ready? Then let's dive in right now.
Hello everyone, once again here in through Liberty Radio with the Love Talk Show, and today talking about idealization versus change. How to know if the other person has truly changed is a question, Andrea, that many ask because they don't know. How do I know if a person has changed?
Hello everyone. Once again here in the Love Talk Show, talking about these topics, very interesting and deep topics under the light of intelligent love. And this is a very, very good question. How to know if the other person has truly changed? Because we don't know people's hearts. I don't know your heart. I don't know your mind. I don't know what's going on in your mind right this instant. So how can I tell if you say you love me, that you've changed? How can I know? How can I tell that the person really changed? That's what we are going to discuss, so stay tuned.
Pay attention to this video, we are coming back.
Sometimes you're not in love with a person, but you're in love with their potential. The version of themselves from the beginning, the version of themselves that they promised that they would be, the version of themselves that you keep hoping they will come back. But this is where people get stuck.
Because idealization sounds like, I know who they are really deep down, but change isn't hidden deep down. It shows up consistently. Change people don't just say the right things when they're scared to lose you, but they communicate differently, and most importantly, they stay different over time. So don't think that's all. In tonight's episode of the Love Talk Show, we're going to be diving deeper into this topic of idealization versus change. So stay tuned to find out more on this topic.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
Well, how can I know if a person has really and truly changed? How can I know if what the person is saying is true and matches with the reality? Because how can I find out these things? And there are a few tips a person can be aware of. Because when we are talking about behavior...
she doesn't even allow us to talk.
Okay,
Amora.
let's see. Everything that speaks about the heart is...
It's hard to let go when you've seen glimpses of the person they could be. I feel they deserve a chance to change.
Well, everyone deserves a chance
To change.
to prove that they have changed.
Yeah.
That they are different. And how can I know? How can I know if a person, it doesn't matter if you are you were in a relationship for 1 month or 1 year, if you were married, whatever was going on. How to know? Well, if you have to see if the behavior has changed. There are things, you can pretend during a period of time. During, in a conversation, one moment, you can pretend. But as long as you are paying attention to the way the person is behaving, not only towards you, because this is the mistake many commit, not only when a person is trying to please you, but the way they behave with others, the family members, with their own friends, with the way they deal with life, this will always give you signs of what you can do or what you can perceive if the behavior is the same or if it changed.
So if the person keeps on doing the same things, repeating the same words, and attention, it's not when everything is okay, when everything is amazingly quiet and it's love and we are going to the cinema, we are watching movies together. No. When do we truly know that we've changed, that there were changes, and the situations that we've addressed as a couple actually and truly changed? When a moment of crisis arises, or when simply we don't need to have a crisis or a big one, when simply I say, no, I didn't like this or I didn't like that when a problem arises or a challenge.
Yeah, you can also know if a person has really changed when they are taking accountability of what they've done or what they've said, when they are naming the problems. I know there are people who are, they can be fake enough to say, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. But in general, the person who is sincere and they acknowledge their wrongs, they are not saying, but I've done this because of you, and throwing the responsibility always to the other side of the relationship. No, this is not accountability. When I've done something wrong, I understand and I assume it was my responsibility. It was what I've done that created this situation. And when a person does it, obviously they are giving you signs that the change is for real. If the person starts showing you that there are boundaries and limits, the boundary of the boundary of respect. Sorry, I'm sorry. They know that before they were extremely rude talking to you. They were using a kind of authority they did not have. They were expressing their words in a very, heavy way. And sometimes, maybe for a short period of time, a situation happened, triggered something, but they say, no, I'm sorry. Let me repeat this in a different way. So you see, the person is taking accountability. The person is naming the problem that he or she has done, but also they are putting a mark, a limit, a boundary, saying, no, I want to change and I want to prove that I have changed.
Another practical example that we can also bring up, if, for example, you had a problem or a situation with your partner where on social media he was liking or texting other people, and of course you found out, and similar situations, for example, and you found out, you addressed the situation, and because you love the person and the person really apologized, so you decided to give the person another chance. Now, how can I tell that the person really changed? If the person gives you access to their phone. If, for example, you try to grab the phone or to check, not because you're stalking the person, because you have to trust. If you decided to forgive, you need to trust. But also, we have to have this freedom with each other. Liberty, because we are a couple, we are as one. So I need to trust my husband, he needs to trust me. But if he doesn't show me my phone and he hides the phone from me, so what's that? What's going on? You will be very suspicious.
You have nothing to hide, and you are open even for feedback, because maybe this was previous a problem, a very big issue between the couple. Long patterns, when you see a person is not doing something at the moment. I recall once a man even asked me, I want to talk to my wife because he has offended his wife, and his wife was saying, I don't want him anymore. And it ended up they have asked me to be like a kind of a third person, mediator, and trying to put them together and trying to help them. I brought the wife, and the wife accepted to talk to him. And when he came, and he came for a very long, very far place, because they were in different cities. And he came, and as soon he arrived, please, I'm sorry, I want to change, I know I've done something wrong. And, even put himself on his knees. I don't know if you remember this.
Yes.
He put himself on his knees, and he said, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to hurt you. And, the wife, because she was hurt, she said, no, I'm sorry. I don't want to talk to you, and I'm not going back to you. My dear friend, at the moment, the same man that put himself on his knees, that was so lovely, so caring, so gentle, he became, the most rude person, and criticizing and offending. And he ended up even cursing her. So you see, there was no change. There were words, nice words, and maybe if she was going through or accepting those words and accepting to go back just because of those words, she would be through the same problem all over again. So you see, you need to understand it's a pattern of a long-term pattern of things that the person is doing. They are correcting themselves and they are consistent in this correction that they applied to themselves. And these are a few tips or a few things that you can see and you can pay attention to know if the person really changed. We are going to talk more about this, but I think now Quinton wants to say something. Let's hear what...
Amora, that's correct. But change should be visible, not imagined. If the pattern returns every few weeks, the person hasn't changed. They paused. Pay attention to the patterns, people.
Yeah. Quinton, it seems that you were not listening what I was saying. I just said people, they need to pay attention to the long-term patterns and paying attention to this.
He was not talking to you, he was talking to Amor.
Yeah, but he was throwing something to Amor. Well, pay attention, we are coming back.
What stood out to you from tonight's Love Therapy seminar?
The message, definitely. And the example of Abraham. Because as Bishop's wife said, he was called at 75 years old. And when God said, oh, you're going to bear a child, I could only imagine. But Abraham is such a great example. Even though our age difference is a very big difference, but I can still take in that mindset of always trusting in God. So whether it's my time now to meet someone or whether it's in a few years, it's to always trust in God so that it goes the right way.
Why would you say people struggle with that trust of waiting and being patient?
Nowadays, many people do struggle with these trust issues because they don't go about their love life the right way. So whether it's through traumas from previous relationships because they entered into that relationship with the wrong mindset in the wrong moment, which probably went wrong. So it impedes them from trusting, whether it's in themselves or trusting in the future partner that they may meet. So my main thing that I believe that why many people have these trust issues is from previous traumas and from childhood moments even.
Would you say that the Love Therapy helps with these kind of things?
Definitely. Love therapy helps with everything regarding the love life, regarding yourself as well. Even if it's not just love life, it helps you as a person. It helps you as a man, as a woman to grow.
Would you invite someone to come and attend the Love Therapy?
I would invite every single person, whoever can speak, whoever can breathe, to come to the Love Therapy.
Want to experience the Love Therapy for yourself? Join us every Thursday at 8 p.m. at 232 Seven Sisters Road, Finsbury Park. You'll be inspired.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
And you know how difficult it can be for a person to trust again. And especially now that we have seen people who are saying one thing and then they end up acting in a different way. And, people who are taking advantage on others and, compromising their well-being and their future. And sometimes you are afraid, and being afraid, when a person is afraid, they don't see what is the most important thing to be seen, and then you start focusing so much on what the other has changed or not that you forget to look at yourself. And there's a big question here: how are you going to be able to see someone else if you are not seeing yourself? How are you going to be able to see if the other one has changed, if the other one really improved, if you are holding on grudges, if you are still living under this resentment that is eating you from within? And at the end of the day, you love someone, but you don't know if you have to be with that someone. You end up talking and being with this person, but at the same time you are angry and shouting and even despising and rejecting the person at the same time. And at the end of the day, who is the one who is crying and empty and afflicted? Is the one who cannot see himself, who is not able to look to himself. So it's time for you to understand. It's important for me to take advantage on what I'm hearing. And if you are listening to me, it's not by chance, Andrea, I do believe in this. It's not by chance that this person is listening to what I'm saying. And if for some reason you are broken from within, if for some reason you suffered with a broken relationship and the person is coming and saying, I change, give me a second chance, and you are afraid and you are holding, and all the memories are coming back and all the situations you went through and you don't know what step you should take. Well, we gave you a few tips, but now it's time for you to think about what you can do for yourself. You cannot change someone else, but you can make yourself the person that you need to be. And if for some reason you are holding on these resentments, you have to get rid of them. And that's why I would like to invite you to be with me and with my wife in this coming Thursday in a seminar where you are going to learn how to mature yourself, emotionally speaking, how to mature the relationship that you are in, how to take the step that will make you able to look at yourself and consequently be able to see the one that is next to you. Pay attention to the address, 232 Seven Sisters Road, 5 minutes away from Finsbury Park train station, and the meeting or the seminar will be starting at 8 p.m.
This is the Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio. Real stories, real dilemmas, real solutions. Only on the Dear Love Talk Show.
I like someone, but I constantly feel unsure or conflicted. How do I tell whether this uncertainty is a warning sign or just fear?
And if you want to get in touch with us, we do have the Dear Love Talk Show where we reply to all your doubts and also concerns. So we do have the question for today. I like someone, but I constantly feel unsure or conflicted. How do I tell whether this uncertainty is a warning sign or just fear? So the thing is, living in fear or uncertainty, is never good. It's never a good sign or a good thing. Either if it's caused by fear, so like Peter was mentioning, it's very important for you to work on yourself, because with this relationship, with this person or with a different person, you will still be fearing. Maybe you have to address the situation through an inner perspective. You went through a lot, maybe you went through a relationship that failed, someone deceived you. We don't know because you don't enter in these type of details, but whatever this fear is caused by needs to be addressed first. If it's a warning sign, so the whole program today we were talking about knowing and understanding if the person really changed or not, and addressing the situation in a rational way, discernment. This person was like this before and now it's not anymore. I spoke to the person this way or to address the situation, and she stopped doing or he stopped doing what they were doing before. So the person changed. That gives you the assurance. If you are uncertain, it's because either you need to address a situation that you didn't sort from within, or it's not really the right person for you. Either way, if you need to enter in details or to share more details for you to get a better and a deeper advice, you can always meet us here on Thursdays at 8 p.m. or before 8 p.m. because the love therapy starts at 8. You can meet us here. We have a team that can talk to you and advise you exactly to answer these type of questions and what your concerns are.
love@uckg.org is the email where you can send us your question, and we'll be more than pleased to share with you our opinion. If you want to watch this program again or any other, you can go to our account on YouTube, Love Talk Show, and there you will find the other programs. May God bless you all. See you tomorrow at 10 p.m. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
In a world where information moves fast, relationships happen instantly, and opinions constantly change. One important question remains: what truly defines maturity? Many people believe that maturity comes naturally with time, as though getting older automatically brings emotional balance, clarity, or wisdom. But reality often shows the opposite. Not all growth is visible on the outside. Maturity has far less to do with age and far more to do with inner development. It can be seen in the way someone thinks, reacts, and remains grounded, even in the middle of emotions, pressure, and life's frustrations. As maturity develops, things that once seemed essential begin to lose their importance. The constant need for approval, attention, or validation no longer controls emotions. There's more clarity, more stability, and far less unnecessary emotional exhaustion. And this completely changes the way relationships are experienced. When there's an inner stability, relationships become lighter, healthier, and less driven by impulse. There's more understanding, more patience, and fewer unrealistic expectations. Small disagreements no longer turn into emotional battles. On the other hand, the absence of maturity tends to make everything more intense, more complicated, and emotionally draining than it needs to be. Simple situations become major conflicts, and relationships suffer under the weight of insecurity, emotional dependence, and impulsive reactions. But what truly produces maturity? Real transformation doesn't only happen through life experiences, but also through spiritual growth. The Bible presents this deeply when it speaks about reaching spiritual maturity through the knowledge of God. This understanding goes far beyond religion or information. It changes the way people see others, relationships, and even life's challenges. Gradually, decisions stop being driven purely by emotion and begin to be guided by awareness, direction, and purpose. And it's exactly through this process that maturity begins to develop from the inside out. Last Thursday, the Love Therapy became a place of learning and reflection about the way people have been dealing with their emotions, their relationships, and their inner lives.
When I talk about maturity, there are people, they are very mature when it comes to their money. They got mature, they learned. They are mature when it comes to certain things, to their health. You know, as you are getting old, in the beginning you eat whatever, you know, when you are young you eat anything, but then you are getting old and then you begin to see problem here and there and there. And then if you go through a surgery or something, that marks your life. And then you get mature, you don't eat certain things because you say, no, it's not healthy. But when it comes to love life, there are people who dies immature. Because maturity, it's something that you learn. It's something that you need to learn, you need to apply in yourself. You need to desire. It's not something natural that comes with age. No. It's something you should desire, you should learn, you should give it some thought. Otherwise, you will be mature for the rest of your life.
This moment reinforced an important truth. Maturity isn't automatic. It is built day by day.
I think before I came to the church and before I received the Holy Spirit, I was extremely immature. Even though I had children really young, but I used to act like a kid most of the times, and I used to make all my decisions with my heart, especially with the love life. But coming to the love therapy, I've learned about intelligent love and how to make decisions with my mind.
I would say I have matured from who I was 2 or 3 years ago. I think situations that we face will even make you see that you are immature, and then you mature yourself afterwards.
Hearing different experiences shows us that this subject goes far beyond theory. It is present in real decisions, real relationships, and real emotional struggles people face every day. At the end of the day, the most important question isn't how old someone is, but how much they've matured within. Join the Love Therapy, held every Thursday at 8 p.m. at 232 7 Sisters Road, Finsbury Park, London, N4 3NX. The Love Therapy, because true love begins from within.
That's a wrap on today's Love Talk show, where every conversation brings you closer to intelligent love. We'll be back soon with more love, more truth, and more talk. Until next time, keep practicing intelligent love.